Hello, Pre-Algebra class. Welcome to another episode of Mr. Chao Time. We have started Unit 3, Proportionality. Lesson 1 is on ratios, page 184, if you're following along the book. Well, what is a ratio? It is a comparison of two quantities, usually by division, but not always. For example, 3 to 9 is a comparison of two quantities. For example, I have 3 books to every 9 students that I have. So if I'm comparing the number of books to the number of students, then I could use this ratio, right? And I could also write it like this, 3 to 9 or 3 over 9. And it can also be done with variables, A to B, A over B. Okay. For example, let's say that we were talking about basketball. And for every 12 baskets that I sink into the hoop, for every 12 I make, I shot 18 times. So if I'm going to write that as a fraction, I would write it as 12 to 18. And if I'm going to simplify that, well, I would just divide both the numbers by the greatest common factor, which in this case is 6, and it would give me 2 to 3. So what does that mean? Well, it means that for every 3 shots that I take, I make 2 of them, or I make 2/3 of my shots. Your turn. Refer to the table, express the ratio of the lifespan. The lifespan is how long an animal lives. The lifespan of bottlenose dolphin to the lifespan of a mouse as a ratio in simplest terms. Explain its meaning. Welcome back. So we could express this as 30 over 3. We would reduce by dividing both the top and the bottom by 3, which is the greatest common factor. That would give us 10 over 1. And you might be tempted to write this as 10, right? Because any number over 1 is basically just itself. But not this time. Because 10 is not a ratio. It's not comparing two numbers, right? So you have to include both numbers in the comparison. This looks like a pill now or something. So what does it mean? It means that in the life of an animal, when a dolphin has lived 10 years of its total life, the mouse has lived 1 year of its total life. Or it means that dolphins live 10 times longer than mice. Yeah. So that could be it. For example, here's just another situation. Let's say that 10 out of every 30 Taiwanese people own a Rolex. Express this ratio as a fraction in simplest form. Explain its meaning. So here we have it, 10 Taiwanese 10 people that own a Rolex out of every 30 Taiwanese. So you would write it as 1 over 3. This is people who own a Rolex. These are the people who live in, or not live in, these are the people who are Taiwanese. So the ratio of Taiwanese who own a Rolex is 1 to 3. This means that for every 3 Taiwanese, 1 owns a Rolex. Also, 1/3 of Taiwanese owns a Rolex. This is the explanation. So you would need to write something like this if I were to ask you to explain. Your turn. Let's say that 15 out of 10 campsites. A campsite is a place that you go and you set up a tent. You know what a tent is? It's like this thing that you stay inside of when you go live out in the woods, you know? And you do this for fun because you're tired of sitting at home on the weekends. So 15 out of 100 campsites at a campground. A campground is just a place where you can set up these tents, you know, and there's like all these different tents set up here with, that's a tent, are reserved for campers with pets. 15 of the 100 are for campers with pets. Look at this cute dog. You know whose cute dog this is? It's mine. My daughter is holding Loki. Look at him with his little tongue out. Isn't that so cute? So express this ratio as a fraction in simplest form and then explain its meaning. Welcome back. 15 out of every 100. The greatest common factor is 5, so 3 out of 25. 3 out of every 25 campsites is reserved just for dogs. That's what that means. 3/25 of the campground is just for dogs. Every time there's 25 total, out of every 25, there's 3. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can say this, but that's what that means. All right. One last skill here. Simplifying a ratio that has 2 different units. So in the previous examples, like those things were kind of related, right? Baskets shot and baskets made. Campgrounds or campsites for dogs, campsites that are not for dogs, but not every single one is like that, right? In my first example, it was like 3 books to 9 students. And if the units are completely unrelated, then there's nothing you can do. But what if we had ounces and pounds? Ounces and pounds are both measurements for weight, right? So if we have 2 measurements for weight, we should convert them to have the same unit of measurement. So we would convert the pounds into ounces. And then we would have 8 ounces to 48 ounces instead of 8 ounces to 3 pounds. And then we can reduce that, right? Because we can't reduce it when the units are not the same. So this is what we get. 1 ounce over 6 ounces. That's the simplest form. Your turn. Express the ratio 15 inches to 1 foot as a fraction in simplest form. And just as a hint, 1 foot is 12 ounces. Inches. 12 inches. Welcome back. So our original ratio is 15 inches for every 1 foot. We don't want to keep it like that though. We want to convert the feet into inches. And then we can reduce, right? We can divide both the top and the bottom by 3 and get 5 inches for every 4 inches. Yay. All right. That was a pretty short video, right? Right. All right.